Hey, what's slicing everybody? Chris back with CAC Knives. Here with my first kind of patriotic build today in this Kershaw Blur. And I'll kind of go over everything I did and go over the knife a little bit. One of the best kind of mid-range EDC knives, in my opinion. To some people, the Blur would be a budget knife, but I kind of consider this area to be high mid-range, actually. For a lot of normal everyday folks, this would probably be the higher end of the mid-tier of knives or the lower end of the pricier knives. Probably I'd put it with the customization on it that I did in the higher end of knives. So the Kershaw Blur is a USA made Kershaw. Here is the product number there in the Blur. It has always been one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Kershaw knife that they have ever done. I finally got I used to own a black one, but I sold it a long time ago, and I finally made me a pretty specialized red, white, and blue full USA version here. Before we get into everything I did, let's kind of go over the knife itself. The knife is a full-size knife for sure. We'll bring out the Elementum and the Penguin here to kind of show what I would say, what I would call the regular knife size of knives is the Elementum and the Penguin. They're both pretty much the exact same size. When knives get bigger than them, I say they're going a little bit, they're getting a little bit higher than that tier. When they're getting smaller, I say that, they're kind of undersized, which isn't always a bad thing. It's just, and then the Rat 2, of course, is also in that exact same length ratio. Kind of show you why I always just say that these three knives here are pretty much the exact same size in almost every aspect. So they were all made for the same function because they are generally the standard EDC size. And the Blur falls in range more along the size of the 80-20.5, I would say. Blade's actually a little bigger, it looks like, there. With a little more cutting edge also from the swedge, not just the fact the blade's bigger. And I'm also going to start bringing out a regular sized trapper and then my case toothpick here to kind of show what the knife looks like, because I know a lot of people on the channel own a lot of traditional knives as well, so I figured I'd bring them out for some size comparisons. Now, just getting into the knife is very grippy. It's got these kind of, I don't know what these are called, like ply textured things on there that you don't really see on many knives. They kind of attract things on them fairly easily. I don't know if those sparkles came with the knife or just things that have gotten on them. I haven't used the knife to cut anything, so I guess that's just how it comes. But they're very grippy. Like you're not gonna slip off this knife. If you do, something's wrong. But they really grab a hold of your hands. The blue is just aluminum to help bring the weight down. And for its size, the knife is not very heavy at all. The Damascus is Alabama Damascus, which is made here in the United States. They had to get a production Damascus that's only available in the United States to make a United States knife, so Alabama Damascus it is. And most USA companies that are making USA-based knives that want a knife that's fully made in America have to go with Alabama Damascus. There are very limited options in terms of that, as not much Damascus is manufactured on a production level in the United States. The knife originally had Kershaw's basic pocket clip, which is okay. It works, it functions. As we'll get into in a little bit, I definitely switched that out though. Y'all know I love my titanium clips. It has the speed safe assisted opening, which works very well on the Blur. Oh, that was my fault. I can even backhand it, but, you know, most people are just going to use their thumb to flick it out real easy. But I like to do, you know, as with all my knives, even with the speed safe, spider flick. It works very well. I don't generally like assisted knives, as most people in the knife community don't. Assisted knives are generally only found on, you know, the, I mean, Rough Rider is a better under $20 knife brand, but still assisted knives usually are only found on gas station level kind of knives, with the exception of Kershaw. Kershaw Speed Safe is done very well. It has been tested for years. I used my Kershaw Leak with Speed Safe that I used to own a long time ago. I used that thing for like 3 years, and the Speed Safe never failed one time during that whole 3 years. So my other Blur never had an issue. This one, I have not had an issue thus far. Kershaw Speed Safe is amazing, and it's not too strong to where you can feel it when you're putting the knife back down, but not much. Like, not near the level of, say, an automatic knife. It's very smooth. The Kershaw Blur is an amazing knife for the price. Speaking of the price, you can get a basic Kershaw Blur for generally around 60 bucks. You can get kind of the tiger stripe finish on the blade, and then you're upping it to about 100. And then if you go Damascus, you can find it anywhere from 110 to 140, depending on which colors of aluminum you get. Surprisingly, the black aluminum is actually more expensive. And there's versions with red aluminum out there, which the red aluminum doesn't have any kind of special blades that I know of. And then the blue aluminum just comes with plain blades. And then this Damascus version. You can get versions of the knife with serrations. I don't generally like serrations. Not a lot of people like serrations on their blades unless you work in a specific line of work where you're going to be cutting seat belts, ropes, those kind of things. Then you'd probably want some serrations on your knife. But even then, a smooth knife blade will cut something like a seatbelt just fine, though I don't recommend a rescue crew using a knife to cut a seatbelt to get somebody out. All those funny rescue knives that call themselves rescue knives and would actually just cut the passenger in the car always give me a good laugh. Anybody out there that knows what I'm talking about, I'm sure they give you a good laugh as well. Please, people that save us, do not use those crazy wild rescue knives. Use an actually good rescue knife if you are in that line of work. But yeah, overall, this knife is, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, I'm not 100% sure on the Alabama Damascus blade composition. I'm pretty sure the original Blur used D2. I don't think, I mean, I can check real quick here while I'm talking. I don't think that I have any information on the Blur itself in here. It does come with this. It comes with a booklet here, but I don't think the booklet has anything on the Blur. It just tells you about opening knives and different kinds of locks and everything. Because for a lot of people, there's some information on sharpening. That's interesting. That's cool. They can replace your blades. That's cool. Replace your parts. Interesting. I guess I never really read Kershaw's pamphlet, but you know, there you go. Not too shabby. Kershaw is a pretty well-known company in the knife community, usually for their really budgety knives, though I would argue that the Kershaw Leak, the Kershaw Blur, and the Dividend are 3 of the at least top 100 knives ever made. Those 3 knives, this one and the other 2, are insanely popular. among the world as a whole on knives. So a lot of those kind of knives you can even buy at, say, Walmart and stuff like that. Yeah, I got my Ohio State coin out here. I am a huge Buckeye fan. Football starts this month, so pretty pumped for the college football season. It's the only real heavy sport I get into, and I love just watching all college football, really. But anyways, that's not why we're here. What did I do to this knife? Well, it was already fairly fancy. We already had a red, light, and blue kind of finish going here, except it was missing the red, right? So there's an Etsy seller here in the States. He sells red screws. This is obviously not titanium. Unless you're going to do, say, a Cerakote on the titanium, you can't really make titanium red. You know, you can get kind of close, I guess, and try to make it red, but you can't give it a real deep red. So your only real option is something like stainless or aluminum. And I'm pretty sure these are just stainless screws. And the cool thing is the red kind of shines through the other side too, just how the dividend was. Now, for future reference, if you are going to change these 3 screws on a dividend, specifically these 2, they're a pain. Since they go all the way through to the other side like this, they are a pain. They will get stuck inside. You will need pliers to get them out, most likely. Other knife channels that have fully disassembled the Blur, I don't even think they fully took these out. They just pulled the scale off with them attached. They are a pain. I did get them eventually, but it took way longer than it should have. That's for sure. Way longer than it should have. But I'm very happy with the end result with a little bit of red flaring on the blue. Looks very cool. And on this side, they also gave the red screws for the clip. I got a Lynch pocket clip. All Lynch's clips are titanium, all made in America. Lynch Northwestern here. And as always, if you really want to know if it's titanium, where'd my little magnet go? That I apparently lost, even though I had it sitting right here before the video. How things go, just lose it before the video. Oh, here it is. This is my evil damn cat magnet. Doesn't stick at all. I probably feel it. Unless this is aluminum or titanium as well. No, it's not even sticking to the pivot. That must be aluminum. I highly doubt it's titanium. Oh God. Sorry about that. Bumped right into the camera. So yeah, I changed it out for the Lynch clip. I do not like this Lynch clip as much as the one on my Demco. The one on my Demco though is longer with more give. You can really hear that thwack. I think they could have made them longer to at least the length of the other one. Let me see if I can try to show you here. See how the other one comes all the way down to there? You can see where the other one was sitting. It's another thing. See where it was sitting. See that little bit of white on the aluminum? That's where the other clip sat. And this clip is further back. Now, the titanium is more durable, and it is nicer than the other clip. You're not going to be able to hear this one because it's on that groovy material that's not going to make a sound, but if it was thwacking against the aluminum, you would hear it. It is a good clip. If you want to pull the clip up, you got to kind of grab the end with both your fingers. Of course, if you're just slipping it into jeans or something, you can just, push it down and slide it in, and that's not going to be a problem. So yeah, that's my customization that I did on the knife. Now this Damascus, a lot of people with Alabama Damascus, it kind of looks fake. Especially like in person, it doesn't give the same, well, for one, it doesn't have the same kind of feel as, say, the Civivi does, and there is nothing on the top to indicate that it's Damascus at all. That you can, I guess if you really get close, If you really get close, I don't know. I have no idea if this is going to pop up on the camera at all. But we are going to try. Oh, you can kind of see some lines there in the back. It is Damascus. Kershaw would definitely not be the company to lie about their knife being Damascus. But it is definitely the least Damascus-y looking knife, so to speak. Now, the Kershaw Blur is not new, so keep that in mind. But, you know, say on this Civivi Gordo here, like, that's probably top tier looking level of Damascus. And then I would give this as the lowest tier looking of Damascus, but it still helps make the blade look different than just a plain black blade, which I like. Though I will admit, if they would have made a blue one with the tiger striped, I'd have probably got that, but they don't have a blue one with tiger stripes that I know of or that I could find. So yeah, I didn't end up going with that. Is there any cons of this knife? Well, you know, the original price for D2, $60, speed safe, seems high because, you know, D2 with certain materials, $40, okay? But remember, if you go watch my video that I talked about why knives are priced the way that they are, made in China, made in America. Price difference just based on where it's made at. Always is going to happen. You can't avoid it. Things in America cost more to manufacture than China. For example, look at Temu now. Oh my, how cheap is everything on Temu, right? Now, I'm not really comparing the stuff you can get on Temu to knives. Not saying all of it's junk, but a lot of it, you know, a good half of it at least, probably isn't good quality. Though in the case of knives, that isn't always the case. Like Kubi, Civivi, you know, QSP, most of my knives, honestly, were manufactured somewhere else. Not necessarily China, but they were manufactured somewhere else. And this is a very high quality knife. Can this knife do what this knife could do? 100%. 100%. I haven't done a review on this knife yet. I need to, eventually. Man, I'm hitting the camera a lot today. It's just in my way. Would I recommend this knife though? Oh, 100%. I would get the Blur over 99% other knives out there. The Kershaw Blur is amazing. It's fun. It's big. It's tough. It'll last. Now, I will say, since the scales are aluminum, once it starts scratching up, you know, that blue would go away. And if you got black, the black would go away. If you got red, the red would go away. Now, I'm not going to be using this for hard work like that, but if you used it for hard work, that aluminum will start showing. If you're going to be doing something that would scratch up the handles, and you don't care that the knive's a little smaller, I would recommend a Leek, because Leek comes in some colors that would not scratch so easily, etc., etc., etc. But this aluminum, the color will slowly go away if it scrapes on metal. Even if it scrapes, if aluminum touches anything that's harder than aluminum, it will scratch. That's how all metals work. If a metal touches something that's harder than its toughness, it will scrape. Now, another disadvantage, I guess, of this knife is Alabama Damascus is highly prone to corrosion, as is D2 on the other Kershaw Blurs. So, I mean, in my knife case, I keep a gel pouch specifically in this one slot just to help it a little bit, just to be sure. Though my knife case with all my expensive knives in it is always sealed up, so there shouldn't really be much moisture in it anyways. I do live in Ohio. Moisture in Ohio can kind of fluctuate. Ohio's one of the weirdest non-consistent weather states that we have here in the U.S. Only people in Ohio will agree with that 100%. But, you know, they move away, go to another state, and they say Ohio is crazy. Our weather patterns here are absolutely nuts. We have literally been 90 degrees one day, and the next day it snowed outside. And then the next day it was a lightning storm. You know, it's nuts, Ohio, especially when it's time for the seasons to change. You can be in, you know, fall, summer, winter, and spring, I swear to God, in the same week. It just always happens. I don't know. Ohio's nuts with its weather. So as far as the humidity goes in Ohio, it heavily just depends. Now the Alabama Damascus does have places where it kind of does weird patches. And if somebody knows how this happens on the steel, let me know in the comments, because I don't know how this happens. I mean, it looks pretty neat, looks different from all other Damascuses. You know, the lines and stuff, that's pretty normal. That's the steel folding. But these little pouches look very weird to me. I've never noticed that on any other Damascus I've ever had. So if somebody could tell me down in the comments what's up with that, I would be very curious to know how that works. Maybe some blacksmith or metallurgist or something down in the comments. A lot of people in the knife community know about their metals. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching today. Thanks for listening to some random cool rambles. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.